A Beetlejuice themed makeup. As you know from the last week, we do Fun Fridays every Friday in October here at the Mehron offices, where all the girls get together and do really fun themed looks using Mehron products. And we're gonna do a live look today. This is my beautiful sister, Nicole. So everyone say thank you to her for coming in today to be my model. And I'm gonna demo a Beetlejuice look on her. To start off, I'm gonna do this other side as well, which is blank, but I'm starting with a base of Star Blend. So I'm gonna grab our Star Blend first. If you don't have Star Blend, Paradise will absolutely work for this look as well. But I love Star Blend. It dries down to a really nice like powder finish, and it's really easy to kind of sheer out. So I am going to grab our fluffy blush brush and dip it into just a little bit of water. What I like about Star Blend too is it is a wet, dry finish. So you can go over and set the look and add highlights dry as well as wet. So this is a little bit damp. And we're just gonna start to build it, grab a little bit more. And you just kind of want to mix it up until it gets to that nice, like kind of creamy consistency on your brush. And work it in. And we're not going for that full opaque white look. If you wanted that full opaque color instantly, we have a brand new product. Has anyone tried Edge yet? Edge is instantly opaque paint, and it is blend resistant. But for this, we kind of wanted that creepy, like ghoulish, ghostly look. So I'm buffing it. It's already all down the neck and on the other side of the face. All right, beautiful. And Star Blend is really, really easy to blend out without getting streaky. We will also be using Paradise for this look to add in some fine details. But since Star Blend does dry down to a powder matte finish, it doesn't need to be set before putting anything on top of it. So quick, easy, you can see no real like streaks or anything like that. It looks very smooth powder matte finish. So now we're gonna go in and add a little bit of Star Blend. This is Star Blend wet. You could build it up to an extreme opaque color as well. But for the next one, I'm gonna go in with our Star Blend in purple. And I'm gonna be using this one dry, so I'm just gonna take my brush and kind of get rid of any moisture in it. And dip into that. Kind of take a little bit of color off. And as you can see over here where we already started, we're just adding a little bit of dimension. Obviously Beetlejuice's nice like mossy look is gonna go on top of it, but creating a really cool Halloween makeup, it's all about layering colors. So we're gonna start with a layer of purple as a nice contour shade. And that's gonna go up on the forehead, down onto the cheekbones. I even added just a little bit on the nose to kind of break up the look.
There's a question, Katie.
Yeah, what do we got?
With Paradise, I should be powder setting before using shadows on it?
It does dry down to a nice matte finish, but yeah, I would put a thin layer of either our color set or translucent celebrate powder on beforehand when you put powder on top of it, because that will make it glide on a little bit smoother, whereas Star Blend literally dries down to a powder. This formula really is, like if you're familiar with like the old school like Max Factor like cake makeups that can be used wet or dry, that's what this is, whereas Celebre is more of your water activated body paint. So I would put just a small layer of powder on top of it before going in with any shadows. And you want to really make sure to get up into the hairline Nicole was like my perfect Beetlejuice candidate because she already has green hair. But originally I didn't have her, so I was gonna demo how to use liquid makeup to get green in your hair. I know last week Pamela did the Joker and she used Paradise. That works as well. I also love liquid makeup. So this is all liquid makeup throughout my hair. I'll show you a little bit later kind of how I do that. All right. So now that I have that layer of purple going on, you can see there's a few more colors up in here. I added in our Solar Wind yellow shade right here, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of that like mossy yellow. Turn over here and just kind of build a few different colors. Bring it down on the neck as well. Gorgeous. And I did her eyebrows already. For that, I used our Paradise. Basically, to give you a quick rundown of what I'm using for this look, you could do individuals as well, but I have two Paradise palettes. I have our Nuance, which I'm going to be using the Dijon in here, as well as the olive shade and the mauve, the purple. And then our classic basics, which if you're just gonna get like one starter palette, this is definitely the way to go. You can mix any color that you need, black, white, primaries, and a brown. So for her eyebrows, I wanted more of that like cartoony eyebrow look. So I mixed just a little bit of the black and the brown with a very thin brush to create the brows. Okay, so now that we have her base down, we're gonna go into the eyes. I already did start her eyes over here. We are gonna deepen it a little bit because we want that really, really intense, dark purple Beetlejuice eye. So to start off, I'm using our Star Blend again. I'm starting off with it dry with a nice fluffy brush. And when you wet these colors, once you wet them with water, they will dry back to the original formula and you can use them dry again later on. But as I'm working, since with this look, I know I'm gonna want to use it wet and dry, I'm kind of dividing my pan in half. So I have my half that I'm using it wet and my half that I'm using it dry. That way I can continue to go back and forth. So I want this look to be a little bit more of like an avant-garde, messy look. So I'm holding my brush a little bit farther back than I normally would. It gives you a little bit less control and it makes the movements and placement of pigment a little bit more sporadic. So look up for me as well. He really kind of goes all out and brings that purple color all around the eye socket. I do love the original V-Nail design is literally just kind of two dark purple circles, which is so cool. But we're gonna switch it up, play around with it, kind of do our own Mehron twist. All right, so now that I have this kind of soft purple base, I'm actually going to wet our purple Star Blend now. So I have a little bit of water over here. And on the half that I already have wet, you can see it just kind of deepens the formula. And it's gonna make a little bit more of an opaque finish. And I always like to test on my hands first. When I'm working on someone else, you always wanna make sure before you start, you have nice sanitized hands, sanitized tools. So that was all done beforehand. All right, now close for me. With the color, I'm gonna start on the outer corner and kind of work it up into the crease. And you want the brush strokes to be really haphazard. I specifically chose a brush that is a flat brush and not something super fluffy like this one. because it's gonna create more of like a streaky look. It's gonna give it more of that kind of avant-garde Beetlejuice. The messier it looks, the better. And what's nice about Paradise and Starblend is if it does get too messy, you can go back in with a little bit of water or a clean fluffy brush with a little bit of our intense shadows. And these ones are not water activated. You can go right back in and soften them up. But for now, we want to keep it kind of messy, grungy. I'm going for a grunge Beetlejuice. All right, now look up for me. And you really want to exaggerate that like eye socket. So where we naturally have like this darkest spot right in here, I'm going in with the wet Starblend in purple and just kind of pressing in the color to make it look really dark. And I'm also going to take that and define the inner bridge of the nose, which is one, gonna shape the nose, but also give it kind of this ghoulish look. And anything that gets too heavy, again, since it's water activated, just press it with your finger and it will blend out really nicely. All right, now look up again. Just gonna smudge that right underneath the lash line. And since we're working in layers, remember we're going from lightest to darkest. So I know right now this looks a little crazy, but as we build darker colors, it's gonna create a lot of dimension. So before I go into my darker purple, I actually, as you can see on this side, added a little bit of our Dijon shade from the Nuance palette, which is this nice like deep matte mustardy shade. So I'm cleaning off my brush with Paradise and Starblend. You can just use a little bit of water and it will take off most of the pigment from your brush. You can easily switch between colors. So we are switching formulas now into Paradise. Paradise is a little bit creamier of a formula. And again, it can be sheared out as well. So before I put it on my brush, and then before I apply it directly to the skin, I'm just putting a little bit on the back of my sanitized hand to figure out what opacity I want, because we want that really sheer. I don't know how much it's showing in our cameras, but in person you can see these really cool like gradations throughout the eye color. Almost gives this like bruised effect. And again, kind of just sporadically placing it and tapping it in. And not only do you want to place it around the eyes, but we're going to begin to build all the moss that's around the face and the cheekbones. So we want to start to lay down a little bit more color for that too. We already have our powder kind of contoured look, but we're really going to add some dimension using our Paradise. So I'm going to take that same Dijon shade. I'm going to go a little bit on the nose. Just kind of press that. And then on the forehead. So what are your favorite Tim Burton movies? Do we have any Tim Burton Halloween costumes coming? We've definitely been seeing a lot for our 31 Days of Mehron Halloween, which has been very exciting. We're all very Tim Burton obsessed here at the Mehron office, obviously because we like live and breathe Halloween here. See, is this palette water or alcohol activated? These, both Starblend and Paradise, are water activated formulas. So you're not going to want to use an alcohol with them because it might disrupt the formula in future uses. What we would recommend if you want that really, really long wear, which I'll show you at the end of this, we're going to set it with our barrier spray. So the barrier spray literally creates like a barrier between your makeup and any environmental aggressors, and it's really, really gonna lock it in. So if you're going to a Halloween party, going out, it will stay for a very long time. It's good stuff. So again, and I know at first this kind of like random layering of color looks a little haphazard, but that's okay because we're gonna go over it with a green mossy shade. So kind of the messier the better, and if you're a beauty artist, I know I started more like in beauty, so it was really hard for me to let go and to do these messy strokes, but it'll actually end up looking really cool at the end. I was actually Beetlejuice 2 years ago for Halloween. Tends to be like a staple. It's just a great like last minute, I have this one striped shirt and nothing to wear, what can I make work with like the makeup that I have? And Mehron's awesome for that because we are more of your performance-based makeup, so everything that we make, it's made to be long wear, it's made to be good for your skin, it's tested through artists, it's really what professionals use both on stage and screen. So it's not kind of those, you know, yes, less expensive brands that you might buy, but more, you know, questionable in terms of ingredients and stuff like that. When you buy Mehron, it's cruelty-free, it's made in the USA, and it's all tested. So as makeup artists, we like products that are good for our skin. All right, and I also added a little bit of this Dijon over here because as you can see in the original Beetlejuice, he has this like moss growing off of like one side of his face. So we're gonna start to build that a little bit as well. All right. And I'm the type of artist that I work a little bit all over, layering color by color. So now we're gonna kind of go from lightest to darkest, and I'm gonna start to really deepen the eyes and get more of that like smoky look. For that, I'm actually going to mix two colors. So I'm going to use the black in our basics, and I'm going to use the mauve in nuance. And those are both our Paradise shades. And mixing Paradise shades is really easy. You can kind of just mix them on the back of your hand, especially if you're wanting them to be a little bit more sheer. So yeah, I kind of want that nice gray, but with a little bit of warmth to it. All right. And that we're gonna focus on the inner and outer corner of the eye. And again, the messier, the better, in my opinion. It all depends on the kind of look you're going for. I'm gonna lift her brow bone a little bit just to get to the root of the lash. And then get right back in. Any other questions that we're getting on here? Not yet. If you guys have any questions, let us know. Anything that I can't answer, we are very active on socials. You can either DM us or we have a team of experts that actually will be coming out later. You met them last week, Laura and Madi, and they are info@mehron.com. So even after this live stream, if you guys ever have questions, please feel free to email us. We can help you match colors. If you have a costume in mind, but you're not sure what to buy to create it, they are both like working makeup artists and can help you find the perfect products to go with whatever look you're creating. Turn this down. I'm going to add this black a little bit up into the crease as well. And I think this is where I'm going to go in to really add some depth with our intense pressed pigments. And then look up for me. I I did have Nicole start with just a small amount of our kohl pencil in dark brown in the inner rim. You could use a black as well, but that's just gonna, again, kind of really darken the look, give it a little bit more of a spooky appearance. Close. Okay. And we'll go. So what are you guys gonna be for Halloween? Any exciting costumes that you're working on? Do you have any questions on what products you should be using to create your Halloween looks? Or are you guys like already set like we are in the office and we're pretty much planned out by like August and September? Yeah, you can absolutely. I got a question asking, is it possible to mix two of our water-based colors to create a color? And that's actually something that I did for this look right here. To get this kind of like deeper, I didn't want a full-on black. I am gonna go in with our carbon black shadow, but in terms of the Paradise, because right now we're still using all of our water-based products, our black on its own is a very, very, very dark black. And I mixed it with a little bit of our nuanced mauve shade, which is looking a little sad right now. But to mix them, you just kind of grab a little bit of both. And with Paradise, you want to work it up to like kind of a creamy consistency. And then grab just a little bit of black. Black is always going to be like the most overpowering color, so a little bit will go like a lot longer than you think. So I took a lot of purple with just a little bit of black, then I'm just going to dip into a small amount of water and kind of use my arm. You could also use a mixing tray if you're on set. It's a little more professional, but I did sanitize everything beforehand. So instead of having our mauve is similar to like this color, before getting covered in black, and I made it more of that like deep gray tone. Close.
Someone commented that they're going to be a pop art devil woman. I think that sounds really interesting.
That is really cool. Yeah, we've been getting how many of you have applied to our 31 days of Mehron Halloween? Do we have any submissions going on? Because we've been getting crazy, awesome, original content that even gave us inspiration of like, wow, really, really cool.
I never would have thought of pop art devil woman.
No, you see pop art quite a bit. Lots of pop art zombies, but never pop art a devil woman. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now I'm gonna let that dry for a minute, and then we're gonna go over with our intense shadows. Before I do, I'm gonna start kind of sculpting out the mossy green, and I'm actually gonna show you guys how to create a colored latex staple to create a little bit of dimension. You could absolutely do it just with Paradise and a stipple sponge. Which I'm probably going to start off with, and then I'm going to go over top with latex to create a little bit more texture. But to start, you're going to dip, this is just my little water bowl, and I'm going to take it into our olive nuance shade. And these stipple sponges are always like essentials during Halloween. They're part of our special effects kit, which is awesome, or you can buy them on their own, but you can just kind of create these quick little, you dab them and you get this really nice kind of mossy effect. So with this olive shade, I'm going to start to lay out her moss. And you want to make sure to really get it into the hairline, which they're gonna have to wash out later. It will get in the hair, but it does wash out really easily. Even if you're blonde, you will not have any staining, but it's gonna create a much more realistic effect. If you can see the skin behind the hair, it's gonna be a total, giveaway. All right, turn for me. Do you guys have any good Halloween tips and tricks that you like to use on your clients around this time of year? Aww. Hair on point. Nicole's hair? I know. She was my perfect Beetlejuice candidate. Alright. What did you use for the white base? For the white base, I used our Star Blend. So this is a cake makeup. It dries down to a powder finish. If you don't have Star Blend and you have Paradise, Paradise also will work really beautifully. So it depends on what you're looking. We had a question about getting Paradise to stay really opaque on the skin. Paradise is really all about building and blending colors. So you can definitely get it to be opaque by layering colors. But if you have not tried our new product Edge, that is actually exactly what it is for. So whereas Paradise goes on kind of sheer and you build it, Edge is instantly opaque and it's blend resistant. So it's great for color blocking large areas or creating fine detailed lines. I went with Star Blend because it's a little bit more of that powder finish, and it shears out just really, really beautifully to this kind of, it has more of that ghostly effect to it. But you could easily recreate this with White Paradise too. I would use the Paradise sponge for it. And again, stippling around the mouth where we're gonna add a little moss as well. I actually wanna do a little bit on the nose. And we're gonna build a couple of shades of green. So next, I'm going to go into the Basics palette. I'm gonna mix a little bit of dark green and dark brown. And just kind of mix it like that. And I just kind of mix them with my sponge and then test it on my arm. Yeah, so that has a little bit more of that dark mossy look. Again, layering more shades. And you also want to bring this down the neck and the ears. To create a full costume, a lot of people often forget about the neck, the ears, and the chest. But that is really what will bring it all together and complete your look. Yeah. All right, now turn this way for me. I'm gonna get a little bit over here. And since these are all water-based products, we're gonna spray it down with barrier spray, which will definitely make it a longer wear. But with a little bit of soap and water, it's not gonna be extremely difficult to come off. So great for those clients that sometimes with the more intense paints you worry with the clients that aren't as experienced how they're going to go home and get it off. This, even with a little bit of our barrier spray, will make it really long wear but still easy removal process. Just good.
Your oil-based cleanser.
Yep, a good oil-based cleanser. Our Baird is an awesome remover as well. Alright, now jumping around now that our shadows are kind of a little bit more dry, I'm gonna go back in with my fluffy brush and our intense pigments. And I am going to be using the Wind palette. I'm gonna jump into a little bit of Tornado, which is this purple shade right here. And just kind of soften everything. Not all of it, because we still want it to have that really grungy look. But you can also do a little bit of shading. Turn this way. And look up for me. And he does really bring the color like all the way up to the brows. There's so many different recreations of Beetlejuice, which is cool. You see some like really glam ones, you see some really like gritty ones. It's just kind of an in-between. So now I am going into Solar Wind, which is this really nice kind of like mustardy yellow. And the yellow it's not in the original look, but it just plays so well with the green and the purple and adds a really nice like pop. Blends the colors really well. And this is a pretty quick look too. We're kind of talking through it, so it's taken a little bit longer, but I've definitely done this look on clients and had them in and out in like half an hour, which for a Halloween look, not bad. And I am now going to grab a little bit of the Turbulent brown shade here and mix it with a little bit of our Carbon Black, because again we talked about the importance of making sure that your makeup is well rounded and that you're not just putting makeup on the face but also the chest, the arms, the hands, and the ears. So this one's going to be a little bit more difficult to wash out, so you're going to want a buddy with a Q-tip to help you. But this is just a nice dark black that we're going into and putting it into the ears. You can see, if you could turn this way for me, it just kind of creates that really like just came back from the graveyard type of a look. And then I'm going to take those two same colors, but on a flat top. This is our Mark Reed 16, so it's great for body painting, packing on colors. I'm going to, again, just kind of go back into Tornado and Carbon Black. And I'm just kind of softening it. That way you don't get any fallout. And pressing that into the inner and outer corner of the eyes, deepening it up a little bit. Do a lot of you guys freelance during the Halloween season? If so, what are your hot requests? I feel like every year it's something new. The past few years, Harley Quinn has been huge. We've definitely done a few different Harley Quinn looks. This year, Pennywise is a big one. Look up. If you haven't checked out, we just posted yesterday Brenna, art by B. Maz. We posted her yesterday, a tutorial that she did on Pennywise. It is absolutely amazing. I just love Halloween. Such a whole time to get inspired and get creative. Although at the Mehron office, we kind of look like this all year long for the most part. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys a pretty cool trick now. I am going to mix a latex to stipple because if you're familiar with the original Beetlejuice, he does have that moss that grows on his skin. So I've seen a few different ways that people recreate this. You could definitely stop here if you wanted something really simple, but we want to create a little bit more texture. So in this little container, I already crushed up a little bit of our moss green from the Earth palette down here, a little bit of our electric green down here, and then some of our special effects powders. These are great for recreating any type of like dirt injury. So I have charred ash powder and Texas dirt. So just a little bit of those into a container. And now I'm gonna add a little bit of latex. So this is just our classic clear latex. We have a few. And I'm not putting in a whole lot because you really want the color to kind of be what shines through. And you don't want to mix it too much or else the colors will mix, and you want it to have that like chunky pigment. So I'm going to take the back of one of my brushes, and then there's my latex in there, and I'm just going to kind of start to mix it up. Again, not too much. You'll see it's a little difficult to mix at first. You might need to add a little bit more latex, but it creates this really cool, let me add just a little bit more. And then as we stipple this on, once it dries, you're still going to be able to see all the work we did underneath it because it's a clear latex, but it's going to have these little drops of pigment in them, and it's going to create some texture. Yeah. So that's more about like what we're looking for. Looks kind of gross at first. And then going in with the clean side of my stipple brush. And I always test first. Whenever you're working on someone new, you also want to ask and make sure that they do not have a latex allergy. If they do, this is not for them. So I'm just taking a good amount of product off of my stipple brush because this is so porous, it's going to pick up a lot of product, and we just want it to be nice and sparse. So taking that and just kind of pressing it into the skin. Especially around the hairline. You don't want to get it too close to the hair. And you always want to make sure when you're putting latex on that you show your clients how to properly remove it. We do have some amazing adhesive removers, or just really, really warm water will kind of melt it and disintegrate it away. But you can see that just creates a really cool like texture to the look. Bit around the mouth again. anything that you get too heavy on, always leave the one side of your stipple brush clean. Sponge. So I have one side with latex, one side that is clean. So you can kind of just gently scrape it away. Tiny bit on the nose. And you can continue to build it if you want it a little bit heavier, and it can continue to build up, but I think that's looking pretty good. What do we think, guys? So, let me see, anything else? That's about it. I also did want to show you how to use the liquid makeup. I know last week, Pamela with her Joker, she used our Paradise to put into her hair. I, this week, used liquid makeup, so my hair is not naturally green. I like liquid makeup because you can really mix them together. It's a little bit more of a like smooth consistency, so it goes in really, really easily. And I have a new stipple sponge here. And I mixed two colors because I wanted more of that like neon green. So I mixed our green and our yellow. And since Nicole already has green hair, I'm just gonna add a little bit more to mine. What I like about this one too is that even if you have dark hair, I have black hair, it will still show up really nicely in one coat. And with a stipple sponge, it will go on really nice and smooth. So it's a great last minute. I like it better than a lot of the aerosols, because those will tend to transfer a little bit and they can get a little crunchy in your hair. These wear really, really beautifully. And we have all the primaries, so you can basically mix and match whatever color that you might need. So yeah, that's about it. Ken, you want to grab our other lovely ladies to come in and show what they have worked on today as well?
Absolutely.
What was that for the hair? So for the hair, I mixed 2 shades of our liquid makeup. I used the yellow and the green, and I just put them into a small little mixing pan and applied it using a stipple sponge. So we sell these on their own, and they're also part of our special effects kit, but great for a last minute, like add it in, add color. It doesn't get crunchy, so you can kind of style your hair as you would like, and you can make whatever color you want. And since it's not in an aerosol container, it's also eco-friendly. Any other questions we have while we're waiting? I think you're gonna like our other 2 girls' makeup. So obviously everything was Tim Burton inspired. So my favorite Tim Burton movie, well, Big Fish is my favorite Tim Burton movie, but there wasn't really a makeup in there that struck my fancy. So my second favorite is Beetlejuice, which is why I chose that to do to her. But we got 2 other awesome makeups coming out from Maddie and Laura. Between cream applications. Yes, absolutely. Well, not between creams. It depends on what creams you're using. Today I actually used everything was water-based. So going from Star Blend, which dries down to a matte powder, into Paradise, which is again water activated. Let's say you're using something like a cream blend and then you want to put a powder on top of it. Definitely, I would recommend setting that. We have amazing puffs, and puffs are really the best way to set creams. A powder is going to kind of set the top layer, but with a cream blend where it's a very full coverage, pressing it in with a puff is going to really set it throughout the day, and you can go right on top with any type of powder you would like, and it will go on really smoothly. How do you protect your eyebrows from sin wax? So when you're blocking an eyebrow, always start with a layer of spirit gum and powder. And if that's something that multiple of you are interested in to learn how to do a brow block, definitely let me know because we can do a demo for you here. Next week, Pamela and I are going to be here kind of touching up our makeups, but also it's going to be more of a Q&A base. So any like questions you have, definitely come back next week. But yeah, to quickly answer your question with a brow block, start with a layer of spirit gum and kind of brush it up, powder it, and then use just a little bit of Sinwax to kind of fill in the brows. And that layer of spirit gum and powder will protect your brows from the wax clinging to it and pulling it out when you remove it. Also, it's all about removal. A lot of people don't realize, like, yes, it takes us like an hour to apply special effects makeup, but normally on set, with my experience, it takes double the time to remove it because skin prep and making sure that the skin stays good for the next day of shooting is even more important. Cream-based paints you set with what powder? So cream-based paints, these ones are not, Paradise is not actually a cream-based paint. Oh, sorry, you're seeing us in there. Paradise is not a cream-based paint, it's more of your water-activated, so these don't necessarily have to be set with powder. If you're using cream blend, let me grab one so you know what I'm talking about. So this is Cream Blend. It comes in 40 skin tone shades as well as 18 like bold colors for special effects. So let's say you're doing like an ogre makeup and you want to use this. This is extreme full coverage and it is a cream formula. Can I borrow your arm? So you can see it goes on and in one swipe you really get that full coverage. And it's very creamy. So especially if you're working on anyone who has drier skin, this is going to be great for them. And that you would want to set with our color set powder. You could also use our Celebre loose mineral powder, but for more heavy duty makeup like Cream Blend, I recommend our color set and just kind of pressing it in with a sponge. And then you can go on top with whatever you would like. To use on the hair. So on the hair, for my hair, she naturally has green hair, so she was like my perfect Beetlejuice candidate. For my hair, I went in with 2 shades of our liquid makeup. We do have these, I believe, in pretty much all of the primaries and a few like tertiaries, so any color that you need, but they can be mixed as well. So the green on its own is a little bit of a darker green. And I wanted to brighten it up because Beetlejuice has kind of that like lime green hair. So I just mixed yellow and green together in a palette and applied it with a stipple sponge. I don't speak French. We do have an amazing team in Canada and a lot of them do speak French, so if you have any questions, let me know. Actually, a lot of what I used today is Paradise, so shout out to Ginny. Ginny is an amazing famous body painter that works worldwide. She's based out of Montreal and she does speak fluent French, so if you have any questions that are easier for you to ask in French, please send them over and I can definitely get Ginny to help me out to let you know the answers. The Paradise Paint palette, we've got a few different Paradise Paint palettes. To find all of them, I would go to Mehron.com and you can literally just put in Paradise because they do, depending on what you're looking for, come in multiple sizes as well as multiple different palettes, and they all kind of retail for different prices. I used 2 of our 8 color palettes because I knew I was going to be bumping around, but we sell smaller singles as well as larger singles, and we have my personal favorite. This is what goes with me everywhere. Oops, sorry, Nicole. And this is our 30 color palette. So this has a little bit of everything. Lots of black and white, since these tend to be the two most popular. 2 of our brilliant shades, which are the metallics, and then an array of anything that you need. So yeah, check out Mehron.com. Or if you're not based in the US, please email us, info@Mehron.com, and we will be able to find you any answers. Yeah, we sell on Amazon as well, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Easiest face makeups you can do. It depends on kind of the look that you're going for. We do, if you're kind of like getting into beginning and more face painting, we do have some Paradise kits, and the kits do come with instructional little tutorials on how to create kind of some hot looks, some lions, some superheroes, just kind of the basics. And then if you want something a little bit of a step up, we have our SFX kit, which has a lot more in it. It has all of pretty much our special effects products, and that includes a large step-by-step pamphlet on like old age makeup and scars and basically anything that you would need to know. So if you're a beginner wanting to get into that, that's what I would recommend. So it all kind of depends on the look that you're going for. So we do, I'm for the person asking about the larger size Paradise in black and white, if you are based in the US on Mehron.com, we do have the larger cakes of black and white Paradise that you should be able to find either on Mehron or on our Amazon site, or in any of our locations. So if you go onto Mehron.com and check out our store locator, you can look at what stores are nearby you, so you might even be able to get it same day. So you could, we want this makeup to last all night, of course. Again, going back to kind of like the Mehron roots, we were made for stage and screen. Everything is tested through makeup artists that work under, extreme lighting, all of that. So everything's pretty long wear on its own, but definitely you can throw a little color set powder, or actually, thank you for reminding me, I'm going to throw a little bit of our barrier spray on top of this. And this can actually be used before and after. It can be used before as a sealer to kind of protect the skin. I'm gonna use it after. It kind of creates a barrier on the skin between makeup and any other like environmental aggressors. It helps to prevent makeup from breaking down. So I'm gonna have you close for me. And when spraying your client's face, always start to the side of them. That way they know it's coming. And then just give it a good few spritz and fan it on. And that will lock and seal everything in. Yeah, this, if you are a makeup artist, is an absolute must in your kit, whether you're doing beauty, effects, Halloween makeup. It goes everywhere with me. How is the effect on her face made? So the like moss effect that we did, for that I used clear liquid latex. We do have a few different colors of liquid latex too, so a zombie one might be cool for this. I just went for clear because I actually added in some color to it. So this is like my aftermath of when the latex was mixed in. But I took a little bit, I wanted that like dirty, mossy look with some texture. So I added in a little bit of our charred ash powder, our Texas dirt powder, and these two are special effects powders. So if you're looking to do like that damsel in distress look, or, you know, more intense injuries, these are great. And then I also crushed up just a tiny bit of, from the Earth palette, we have Mountain Moss, which is this green shade. And then to make it a little bit more vibrant, because he kind of has that like toxic look to him, the Electric Green from Fire. So I just kind of crushed him up into a fine powder and mixed it in with the latex and went in with my handy dandy stipple sponge and just kind of stippled it on.
Someone said, what is the life of a palette? Like, what's the shelf life?
The shelf life. So with any of our makeup, you can find the shelf life right on the back of it, which a lot of people don't realize. So I don't know if you can see this. This is our Star Blend. So Star Blend will last for 30 months. So you can see here, it's that kind of, I don't know if it's in focus. The jar that's open, there will be a number in it. This one says 30, so 30 months. Everything lasts quite a while, and you definitely want to take care of everything really nicely. A lot of the products, you'll notice when they will kind of start to go bad, because they'll, you know, start to disintegrate, maybe create a little bit of oil on top of them, and that's not normal, but it doesn't happen for quite a while as long as you're keeping everything sanitized, clean, and nice. All right, so we got another one of our looks here. Laura, come join us. So Laura, last week you had the amazing clown. This week, want to tell everyone about your look?
Hi guys, today I went, I'm sure Katie has already mentioned that we are doing a Tim Burton theme day.
Mm-hmm.
So I went for Vampira from Ed Wood in grayscale.
What did we use?
I used Cream Blend Stick in white for my foundation. I used Paradise Black for my lips and liner and brows, and I used Carbon Intense Powder, which is like the best black for your contouring and eye makeup.
Absolutely. And that's cool too, because it's what, four
products
that you
Yeah.
can create a whole look with. And that can also be used all year round, whether you're doing beauty or whatever. Cool. What do you guys think? Do you like it? Yeah, we're getting some heart eyeball emojis.
Love it.
I love it.
Wow. It is a busy time here at Mehron, so
Yeah.
I gotta get back to work.
Of course. Is Maddie coming back?
She's also very busy, but we're working on getting her back here.
Okay, well, no worries. We're gonna say goodbye for now, but I'm gonna show Maddie in one of our stories so you can catch it. I'll take a photo of all of us together so we can kind of all see us as a group. I didn't use any of the fixing powder after Halloween makeup. So you could definitely set it with a powder if you are, or if your client is on the more oily side. Since what we use today is water-based products, instead of going with a heavier powder, I went with our barrier spray. So that will seal everything in just as well. Any last questions before I say goodbye? All right, so we will see you guys next Friday. We're gonna be doing something really special. There's actually gonna be 2 of us back here doing our makeup, and it's gonna really be all about Q&A. So please gather any of your questions, and we will be answering all of them next week.